In this video, we're going to be comparing Canvas apps and model-driven apps. And let's start by saying it's not a competition. We're not looking for a winner here between the two of them, and they both have their place. We're going to start by looking at those times when we might want to use Canvas apps over model-driven apps and vice versa. We're going to compare the features of Canvas apps and model-driven apps. And we'll also talk about how we might be able to work with both Canvas apps and model-driven apps using custom pages. Let's start by talking about those times that model-driven apps are the most suitable solution. And these are times when you have sophisticated data models, where you have many tables, and those tables have many columns. And the way in which the data needs to be completed needs to really follow a very rigid process, in addition to tracking activities associated with the data. Canvas apps, on the other hand, are all about offering flexibility to an organization. So they offer a graphical, intuitive interface for users of the app, and very much a tailor-made user interface. Finally, Canvas apps are not limited to interacting only with Dataverse. Canvas apps can use an enormous number of the 1,000 plus connectors that exist within your Power Platform environment, which can lead to interactivity with your data and your systems that cannot be performed in any other way. So let's consider some areas where Canvas apps compare to model-driven apps. Model-driven apps have limited theming abilities, and whilst model-driven apps are extremely responsive, it can be done in Canvas apps, but it may require a little bit more work. Canvas apps have a huge amount of control over the user interface. And the flip side is that with model-driven apps, once you're used to the interface for one model-driven app, you can probably use a great many of them. The formula language for Canvas apps is PowerFX, and with model-driven apps, you may find that from time to time you need to use JavaScript. Canvas apps works tremendously well with images, and both model-driven apps and Canvas apps have different approaches towards business logic. And with Canvas apps, it can be highly bespoke. Finally, with Canvas apps, on the one hand, it's easy to make errors in development because you're working with a formula language. But if you have made syntax errors, you can spot them easily. Whereas with basic model-driven apps, it's actually quite hard to make errors. And the sort of errors that do take place are the ones where you've created a column and it's the incorrect type. And you may need to go on to delete the column and then recreate it. Running through the table on the right-hand side, some of the key points to pick out are that migration between environments is really simple for model-driven apps. We can build them quickly. We know they're automatically responsive. They work fantastically well where you have a large number of tables with relationships between them. And last but not least, accessibility is built into a model-driven app. And that means that people with a wide range of disabilities can use a model-driven app in a way that might be a little bit more complicated to introduce into a Canvas app. And typically, this manifests itself when screen readers are applied to your app. The final thing to note with Canvas and model-driven apps is that perhaps you don't have to choose at all. We've seen that with custom pages, they can exist within a model-driven app. And as such, you can offer your organization the best of both worlds. We've discussed some of the key features within Canvas and model-driven apps. And the choice that you make will depend on your own business problem and your attitude towards the importance of all of the features. I'll see you in the next lesson.